Welcome to Venice. Welcome to European Cultural Center, Venice Biennial 2021. This is the room of Saphira Ventura, including all the projects we brought to Venice. I'm going to introduce now to our friend Nicolas.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nicolas Fiedler. I'm the designer of the Path of Consciousness you can see here. And in this specific project, we figure out a way to express how we feel about or line through life or vision of consciousness, of achievement, of how to live a good life. And if you guys come a little bit closer, I want to show you what were the thoughts behind it. And the path of consciousness is a single line that keeps on going in many directions before it comes to an end. So as is this path, as is life. And life is really the most artistic thing that we can live up to, right? And this project was a collaboration between me, Hugh Herman, painter from New York, great visual artist, Antonio Espinosa, were our reference on the sculptural buildings, and the architect of Samuel Garcia and Eder Rocha. This collaboration brought together this form of expression that links architect, sculpture, and visual arts. Our final goal is to have this installation built on a measurement of 9 meters tall, 18 wide, and 23 on the whole length of it. I hope you enjoy the Biennale, and we are super optimistic about everything that has been done here. And if you want to come check our room in this great afternoon in Venice, you'll be really welcome. We are here to explain you about our work, and under this new circumstance to do it the best, to live well together. And thank you for your time. I'm Nicolas, and bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Nicolas. And now we are going back. We're going to school the room and surf the room and see the walk acropolis. I introduce Patrick, G, and Carl. Please, it's your turn now. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Carl, why don't you go first?
Okay. So Walk Acropolis, what that is an odd synthesis of our experiences as developers of infrastructure and art for the public realm and architecture. Where it came from is an argument we had about a very bad proposal call in 2014 for Midtown Manhattan. And what it essentially consists of is the idea of building a flexible, lightweight, elevated Rambla to double the capacity of dense urban grids, and in particular to put the highest quality space that derives from that up on a piano nobile that can be extended ad hoc through cities in a very flexible way. The technical and visual language of the Walk Acropolis system, and it is one, can be adapted as a sculptural form. What you see in the video here is a sample developed for a hypothetical set of connections in Midtown Manhattan on the west side between the Hudson Yards complex and the new extension of the Penn Station, and some of the new high-quality commercial and public spaces in between the two, over top of a conventional, sort of almost ex-urban set of connections to the Lincoln Tunnel to New Jersey and loading docks and arterial roads of more, traditionally unlivable kind. What you see in here, therefore, is the possibility, on the one hand, of the elevated roadway not being dedicated to cars, but to people. And even though they're in New York City, to people with enough room and enough quality enough air quality and light quality up above all the hustle and bustle. For one of the affordances of this civil and civic space is civic conduct and civil behavior and cultural programming. Very much more like the ideals that drove urban planning and design in their early days, and very much less like the Thunderdome this part of town can be if you're trying to get from point A to point B, especially if point A is the west side and point B is the east side. Along the way, you'll see embedded in there some of the kinds of amenities you would expect in a Rambla, you know, kiosks, also access at the mezzanine level to a whole new possible tier of street frontage, things that are already there, or yet built, filled in, redeveloped. And of course, a much more effective and efficient use of the conventional infrastructure underneath, where now you do not have absolute competition at every intersection between pedestrian and motor traffic to make turns and go through and so on and so forth. So those are the basic ideas, and I'm hoping that Jiwan and Patrick can now give you a little bit more concrete details so you understand how real this can actually be.
Carl, I think you got most of it, you know, but you missed a few things that actually you came up with, which is one the urban piazza, which is what were we calling it, Carl?
Unsquares.
Unsquares. And the unsquare is a piazza created over the intersections where there would otherwise be unoccupied. Although in New York City, it is pretty much occupied by cars and pedestrians all at the same time, and bikes and those and what have you. But that is one of the key components of a piece of how this works, is that we have created kind of a piece of infrastructure that is for the public good, as it were, you know, this public amenity that all of a sudden you do have this piazza that exists all over Europe, that it doesn't exist in the US for the most part. And if it does, it's not really a meeting place for people. It is a kind of a neglected pocket park that nobody goes to and fills up with garbage that's blown by there. The other thing is that when you make these Ramblas, you know, up 1 story up or 2 stories up, underneath was always this forgotten space that nobody wanted to go into. And we thought that perhaps with skinning it with media skins, that all of a sudden you would create this energy underneath this Rambla that would be a very interesting space to be. You know, it's actually maybe a little bit enjoyable to be there. So those are the 2 things that I picked up that you forgot, but I think you got most of it, Carl. Patrick?
Sure. Thanks, Jiwan and Carl. You did an excellent job of introducing the concept. I wanted to add that the language of the structure itself is not so much an engineering language as a sculptural language. The rhythm of this pathway through the city, and I'd like to emphasize, it would only take 30 minutes to walk across Manhattan from the Hudson to the East River at a reasonable stroll. But the language of the structure is not that of a railway or a highway. It's the language of a stream. It meanders, it turns, it curves, it has little eddies and pockets. So it has, around every corner, there's a surprising, let's say, new avenue or new outcome, and that further encourages the pedestrian to walk on and discover what's around the next corner, and that gives a very different character to it. In total, if we built this structure across Manhattan, it would add the equivalent of 2 Bryant Parks to the city. It's an enormous addition of public space, making it a much more civil environment than it currently is. And all of the real estate, of course, it already exists. It's already owned by the city. It's simply a question of adding it in. And because of the possibility to have connections to retail at the second level, the value of real estate would multiply enormously. Well, it would effectively double, because every store would have a storefront on the ground floor, the road floor, and also on the pedestrian level above. And for that reason, we see a lot of potential for the structure to be self-financing and be a real amenity without being a drain on the city. That's it. Thank you for your interest in the Wakakrapolis project.
I find it great. I'd love to see that happening in New York City. We all. Yeah. That shows how art meets architecture. And that's the main point here in the Venice Biennial this year. How are we going to live together? And how art and architecture creates beautiful things.
Love it. Love it.
We're ready.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Erika. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Hello,
to meet
Louise.
Okay, Chris. This Chris now. I think.
That room I know. Yes.
Chris, this is our room here.
Yeah, wonderful. Yes.
And I can throw you here. And this is the Amazon Biennial. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, and this
You can
is
see one of the photos of Chris, right? So we are going to speak about a little bit about this project.
Oh, Erica, can Alcinda say something? But
Yeah, of
what's your
course.
point?
Hello.
Hello,
Hi
Alcinda.
everyone. Welcome, Chris. Welcome,
Thank
Patrick.
you.
It's G and Carl, and everyone. We are very excited to have you guys over here.
Hi, Chris.
I really only speak as a member of a team of, we are now currently 9 people who are organizing, preparing, thinking about the big event of next year, right? Should I already introduce a little bit the project now?
Oh, of course. Right.
Okay, good. So
Yes.
what we are speaking about is a major international event to happen next year, 2022, probably in June. Mainly in Brazil, but not only. There will be side events in New York and in other places in the world. We haven't figured out all the places yet. But what it's all about is to have an exhibit of art, of beauty of art in the Amazon and by the Amazon in Brazil, with the idea that art brings people together. Art can unite people, art can overcome barriers, ethnic barriers, ideological barriers, whatever. And it is more than ever necessary to do this now. Why? Because the Amazon rainforest is under threat. It is one of the most important biological and ecological assets that the world has, extremely important for the world climate. If you cut the Amazon down, that will have terrible consequences for global warming. We would lose a lot of biological diversity. About 20 to 25% of the world's animal and plant species are in the Amazon. We would lose all that. We have to avoid getting close to a point of no return, where the whole rainforest changes its character and becomes a savanna, with a dry season and a wet season, just as we have in the center of Brazil right now. But it would lose its character as the tropical rainforest. So this has been a small group of friends and colleagues and professionals that has come together to produce this idea of a biennial of art in the Amazon. The idea was first generated by Alcinda and Luis Ventura themselves. They then found other friends and colleagues who have joined, and today we are about 9 persons mainly Brazilians, but also 2 Germans, for instance. I'm one of them, preparing this idea. The, the concern I have already expressed is our worry about the disappearance of the rainforest if nothing is being done. And one wants to raise awareness in the population at large, among decision makers, in the press, in the media, and so on, about the need to conserve, right? And to keep the forest standing, let the forest produce its benefits for the region. For instance, much of the rainfall that falls in central Brazil, in the southeast of Brazil, is generated in the Amazon and carried by flying rivers high up in the air, down into those agriculturally producing areas. If we cut the forest down, that rain will stop, and then there will be no more agriculture. So it's not just about conserving the forest as such. It is about conserving the benefits that the forest produces for Brazil and for the rest of the world. So what we want to have is an event with art exhibits, with shows, music, concerts, a film festival, photography exhibits, dance, a gastronomic festival, and of course also talks and roundtables to discuss several important subjects in relation to conservation of the rainforest and also in relation to sustainable green development of the rainforest. Whether that will happen physically in the 2 cities, Belém in the Amazon and São Paulo in the more southern part of Brazil, or whether it will be a mixture of physical and virtual events, that is not quite clear. We are thinking and planning about that. It depends quite a bit on how the pandemia, the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic will develop, whether we will have more freedom next year to do such physical exhibits or not. So this is more or less the idea of this biennial, which we hope will attract a lot of attention of the world, of the press of the world, and mobilize people to engage themselves for Amazon conservation, and to see this as something that is precious, something beautiful that needs to be kept and not thrown away. This is our idea.
Will be like a great project, you know. You have no idea like how hard you work during these years, you know. And for us, it will be a big project to be in 2022.
This will be like a snowball. As it gets rolling, it will become bigger and bigger and bigger, and we will take more people along on this journey.
So tomorrow is going to be another group of architects, and then on Monday we are going to have these Amazon project people speaking about this. So
yes,
just wait for that. And we have now Nicolas
in the Palazzo.
Palazzo. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you,
Erika.
Thank you.
And we'll tell you guys about some information of the projects that are exposed here and the scale of it. So,
hello.
We are the European Cultural Center. Is a cultural organization here in Venice, and today we started Thursday. We have an exhibition for the Biennale of Architettura 2021, and the exhibition is called Time Space Existence. So we have 212 participants, like architecture studio, university, and artists in general, and that they came from more than 50 countries in the world, so it's very international. And we just the project.
So this is Palazzo Mora. It's beautiful. How old is this place? How old is Palazzo?
It was of the Mora family.
The Mora family.
And we have also of Tiepolo in the first floor. So let's go.
Let's go fast, yeah, so we don't lose time here. So this is the message you got in the entrance.
The ocean begins under your feet.
Yes, under your feet, guys. This is the inspiration that we see right in the beginning. So to the right, you go to the
second floor.
Second and third floor, right?
Floor. So this is Sofia.
Ciao,
She is
Sofia.
for the press desk.
Come
and we
stai?
distribute like catalogs.
Giacomo,
How are
grande. Bene,
Live.
stiamo da fare un live.
Oh, so we need to do like some bloggers, like hi guys,
Yes.
something like this.
Hey guys, lots of people, good people to make it happen here, because it's quite a great big scenario.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you are in Venice, just come here. and enjoy.
Just come by. Yes.
It's a very big organization, and we have beautiful and the bigger one. We have also in near the Rialto Bridge, and also the gardens near the Biennale garden. So this is a very big.
Yes. And a beautiful place.
And also you can see
Beautiful architects from
the light.
Venice.
Very typical
Yes.
Venice.
Typical Venice. So I will walk through at our exhibition here in the Times Square. And I will say bye to Benedetta and guys,
Bye.
and take you guys there to our Saphira Ventura place.
Enjoy your visit.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Benedetta.
Nicolas. That was amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Let's go there. Let's go.
Yes. Let's keep your camera on.
Yeah.
Hi, Lois, Alcinda.
I'm getting to Lois and Alcinda.
Yes, great.
You see, it's a quite big space.
All right. Lois and Alcinda.
This is
Hello.
This is the next person. Bye bye.
I hope to see you guys.
Thanks, Nicolas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Don't forget, you're going to have another live.
Behind us, you have all the projects, 13 projects we brought to
Venice, right? Yeah.
And actually, there was a magazine about the Biennale, and they put our company, our Saphira Ventura, the projects in the first 2 pages. So people are loving what we're doing, the first 2 pages.
Oh,
Look
that's
here.
great.
Our project, and that's
Look at
the
that.
official magazine of the
probably.
Biennale. So we are
great.
there, man.
So we're gonna have a live tomorrow at 10, right?
Yes.
10 a.m. again
Yes.
with a group of Brazilians. So yeah. Thanks
Okay.
a lot, guys.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.